Welcome to the Financial Freedom Podcast with your host, Lorna Poole, sharing the secrets to creating wealth, investing, and that all-important money mindset. To find out more and accelerate your journey to financial freedom, head on over to www.lornapoole.com to get started. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Podcast. What's your situation right now? Are you in a day job? Are you in a day job and would love to become a millionaire? And perhaps rental properties might be your way to get there. My guest expert is H.J Chammas. He is a multi-award winning author, self-made employee millionaire who achieved financial freedom by investing in rental properties throughout Asia, Dubai, and Europe. He is the founder of the Employee Millionaire, a company that empowers employees to achieve financial freedom and become millionaires with real estate investing. HJ, great to have you here.
Lorna, thank you for having me here on the show. I can't wait to engage the listeners here, and hopefully I can share some good insights and advice on building wealth while still in a day job.
Yeah, because a lot of people think that you have to be very rich to become financial freedom. They don't realize that you can do it from your day job.
Actually, yes. In fact, it's an advantage. And what I always explain to my students is, if you go a step backward even, one of the surest ways to become wealthy is investing in income-producing assets that will generate passive income in excess of one's expenses. I will cover 3 simple secrets that could explain how this works. Secret number 1, a starting investor does not need spare cash. And what I mean with that is, someone's job allows them to borrow what they need to start investing. So lenders such as banks like to lend to people with a regular income, a good track record of paying their debt obligations, and a sensible plan for investing what they're borrowing. And banks like secure investments, and property is a secure investment which can be put as a collateral to secure the loan. So with this in mind, anybody who meets those lenders' criteria could borrow from 75% up to 100% of the price of a property in the form of what we call good debt, and start earning passive income from the rent. Secret number 2 is they need to follow a proven investment blueprint, which is a step-by-step process that requires no special ability to learn. Let's reflect on this. Someone with a day job needs a system that both does not require them to be experts and that requires minimum time to be invested to learn the ropes of the trade. Such a blueprint will minimize money and time lost by trial and error, so it minimizes risk. And moving to secret number 3, replicating the same process over and over helps them moving steadily, one property at a time, from their current financial situation to financial freedom.
So number 1 is
they do not need a spare cash because their job allows them to borrow. Yeah.
Proven system. And what's number 3?
Number 3 is, once they have a system, they just need to follow it and replicate it over and over, so that, when they add on their portfolio one property at a time, so that over time, that passive income then carry them over and exceeds their monthly expenses, and they can become financially free.
You said so much. You said so much in those 3 areas that we could go a lot deeper into. And I love the way you explain it, because I don't think people realize how attainable it actually is.
It is indeed, actually, yeah.
So how did you get there?
So basically, I was lucky enough to meet some great mentors in my life who taught me those simple secrets. And actually, I was really surprised. I always thought back then that really it needs money to make money. But in reality, who said it has to be your money? You can always use other people's money. And when my mentor taught me that, wow, it was really a wake-up call for me, that I can borrow my money from the bank. And actually, my job could really facilitate that for me, because a bank wouldn't lend me money if I didn't have a steady income, So when I started the process, and then I learned how to invest in properties, really it became like a circle, like a cycle. I was repeating it over and over, and it was too much fun actually, because on each cycle, on each property, you start to gain more and more wealth, net worth, and passive income.
It's funny because a lot of people give up their day job. There's a lot of trend, start your own business, make a lot of money, but there's a lot of businesses that don't get off the ground, and they're piling all this money into making money. But as you say, if you've got a job with a steady income, banks want to lend you money.
Yeah, indeed. And actually, my heart really breaks when I hear about those people you're saying about now. They leave their jobs in pursuit of an entrepreneurial dream, and then they end up losing both their jobs and their dream. So really, in that book, I want to really open the eyes of the audience that, hey, before leaving your day job, actually leverage it, use it, take it to your advantage. And then once you achieve passive financial freedom, the choice is yours. You can stay in a job you love, or you can just choose to leave a job and pursue any other dream you might have.
And what do you mean by property collateral? Explain that a bit more.
Yeah, so whenever somebody borrows from the bank needs some kind of security. And usually when the property is considered by a lender or by the banks of one of the most secure loans, because they put the property as a collateral, meaning to say they put a lien on the property. So in case the borrower...
They put a what? Sorry, they put what on the property?
They put a lien on the property, so that in case somebody defaults on the payments, the bank can put their hand on the property and take it. And that's why banks love properties.
Oh, okay. And what about, what do you mean by good debt?
Good debt is when somebody borrows from the bank to invest in income-producing assets that generate passive income. So let's look at it like this. People borrow from the bank to borrow some goods, services, or assets they either want or need. When we borrow from the bank to buy income-producing assets, that means assets that generate passive income, this debt automatically becomes classified as good debt. Actually, while we are discussing the topic of good debt, I would like to share one of the hidden secrets to wealth. My mentor, who I wrote about him a lot in the book, he told me one time, you will become at least as rich as the amount of good debt you take in your life. Wow. And really, when I first heard it, it was like, oh, really what I'm hearing here? But however, when I start applying the secret, I would really now, at the point of time, dare to claim that you can almost never become wealthy without incurring good debt when investing in rental properties. And what I mean by that is good debt, which is debt incurred to purchase income-producing assets, sets you on the road to wealth. Now I'm going to throw in a statement, and then I will explain it. If someone wants to receive $100,000 in the future, they got to borrow $100,000 in good debt. To explain this point, let's imagine a property purchased with a $100,000 in good debt. If this property is rented out continuously over the duration of the loan at a monthly rent that exceeds the monthly mortgage payments and the property expenses, the loan will be paid off, and therefore this $100,000 loan becomes our equity in the property. So this simple example discounts both any passive income to be received from the rent and any price appreciation over time. In fact, if you factor those passive income and price appreciation, the equity will increase by $100,000 in a much shorter time than the original loan term. Now, as you might have guessed, this process can be replicated over and over in as much as one both wishes to and is willing to, so that they achieve the net worth they see fit for their ambitions.
Makes sense. And proven system, right? A lot of people, right, are listening to you today. And when you say proven system, like renting a property, what do I need to be thinking about?
So
Rental property, should I say? Yeah.
Yep. So basically, when we say proven system, it's basically a process that helps people on or guide people on how to finance, how to buy, how to rent, and how to manage rental properties for the maximum returns. So let's take it like step by step. In essence, a blueprint will guide on the following key areas. We don't have time to discuss all the 10 steps. I will really elaborate on a few on them now. So it helps you on how to get pre-qualified for a loan and get a loan approval, pre-approval, before going out to prospect for the right properties. 2, how to set buying criteria for rental properties, because actually you need to set those criteria before you buy them. You determine the value, negotiate, and then you buy them. And then when you become a landlord, you need a system that can help you find the right tenant at the right time and at the right rent, because you cannot live with a property being vacant or with a rent that's really less than the expenses on the property. And then once you have a tenant in, you need a system or a process that can help you manage it for maximum operational efficiencies and maximum cash flow.
Yes. And cash flow, you're talking about the capital as well as what you're getting off the rental. Is that correct?
Yes, on the cash flow is basically what we mean here. When you rent out the property, you have to deduct from it 2 major expenses. It's what we call operational expenses, and then you need to deduct the mortgage loan on it. So any excess rent from after you deduct all those expenses becomes the investor's net cash flow on the property.
Yeah, makes sense. And what about the property going up in value?
Yeah, actually,
do you not worry about that because you're renting it and it has a continual cash flow?
Yeah, exactly. As you know, like usually the properties go usually on what we call a property market cycle. So the property market cycle is typically depicted in 4 stages: a boom, which is a peak, followed by a downturn, which is a correction, then followed up by a recovery phase, which leads to an upturn or an expansion that sets up for the next boom or higher peak. So as you can see, markets always go up and down cycles on the short term, which could make an investor wanting to flip houses lose money if the cycle is going downward in a correction phase. This is the simple reason why investors should look at the price appreciation as a cherry on top of the cake, whereas the cash flow as their main objective in investing in rental properties. And this is what we call risk management in investing in rental properties. However, on the long run, the overall direction has always been up in the recorded history of property prices.
So how do you protect yourself? So someone who's doing this full time, how do you protect yourself in a downturn?
So on a downturn is actually what we call it's a paper loss. So for example, let's suppose you bought a property for $100,000 and on a downturn, it became, the value became $80,000. If you sell at that time, this is when you realize the loss. If you don't sell it, it's only a paper loss. You just weather the storm, you keep on renting it out, you cover the expenses, and when the correction and the upturn comes again, this is when you can either consider refinancing the property or selling it out.
And rental properties, right?
Yep.
There are many different types. And am I right in saying what's popular at the moment is if you buy a building and you've a number of people in the one building because you can get rent of each person, rental property. There's so many variations of how to do that. But I presume it's making the numbers work, right?
Exactly. So usually going back to what you were sharing a while ago, there are 2 types of properties, what we call single family units, residential properties. And this is what I'm specializing in. Or the other part is multifamily units. This is really more like you buy a property with multi-dwelling units. And now the advantage of a multi-dwelling unit is you can manage a whole property and manage really vacancies because you have multiple units under one management. However, in such an example of multifamily units, here the loan, actually the mortgage process differs from what we were discussing a while ago. So it's not contingent on the borrower. The loan becomes contingent on the property itself as a business. And usually this is really reserved for those who are expert in managing properties. That's why I always recommend investors start small with a single family units, and over time you can really scale it up and start investing in multifamily units.
And what about you? I mean, you're in different countries. How does somebody go about that? Is there not a lot of red tape? Is that hard?
Actually, yeah, it is. It is. But however, when you have a system in place and you have a good team, actually, one of the major things I discuss in my book is you need to build the team. So, for example, I have properties in the Philippines and Dubai, in UK, in Spain. So, what I do here, so now I'm based in Dubai. Okay, I can manage those properties. But for those properties in the UK and in the Philippines and Spain, basically I have a team who are managing the properties. So those are property managers that I really contract them. We put the rules of the game, and we put a plan, and then they start to deliver on those commitments. And we have like a regular, what we call quarterly reviews, to really see where are they on the rents, on the expenses. Are they really managing the cash flow on what they promised to do?
Makes sense. And I have another question I want to say. You said as well, in the proven system and getting a blueprint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody will be like you are a very good expert in this, but as you say, people with their day job and they're doing this perhaps on the side and building it up. And you talked about minimum risk and you don't have to be an expert. How do you protect yourself if you don't know all the ins and outs?
So basically, I think is that you need to educate yourself. So what I usually like, a lot of people tell me like, do I really need to be educated about the topic? Do I need specific knowledge, in fact? And I tell them it's true that an investment requires some education and research on the part of the investors. Actually, investing in what we don't know or understand cannot be classified as investing. Actually, it's pretty much like gambling. So in real estate investment, real investment is investing in what we know and fully understand. So if someone have a deep understanding in any specific area, I encourage them to look for a topic that greatly interests them and commit themselves to studying and researching it to become an expert in it over time.
And as as somebody who's an expert in real estate and in rental properties, do you diversify your portfolio into stocks and other areas?
At the current time, I'm not doing that just because I do not have any knowledge in stocks and other areas. Actually, I believe in concentration. So when you become an expert in a field, you concentrate all your eggs on the same nest and you watch over this nest. And that's what I believe in. Yeah,
because you can tell by how you speak that you know that you're very aware of all the angles, the ups and downs, and navigating it and so forth. Becoming an expert in one area, totally get it. And you're saying, so once you know the formula, once you know the system, it's a matter of just following that over and over again and expanding.
That's true. That's correct. Yep.
H.J, this has been amazing. For anyone who's listening to this, is totally inspired by our conversation. What's the kind of one thing you want to say to that person that's really thinking of doing this?
So what I really want them to learn is really the importance of investing their savings and monthly net cash flow from their job in what we call income producing assets. And then my favorite is rental properties, but they need to follow a proven step-by-step system that's easy to follow and would allow them to become financially free.
I love it. And H.J, how do we find out more about you?
So there's a lot of information on my website, which is www.employeemillionaire.com. They can also follow me on my social media. So I have my Facebook, which is Employee Millionaire, one word. On my Twitter, H.J Chammas. And on my Instagram, Employee Millionaire.
Love it. And you have a free gift. Do you want to tell everybody about that?
Yeah. So what I want to offer people is a free ebook that's a primer on personal finance to really get their finances in order. And also it really has an overview of what we were discussing today about the real estate investment blueprint. At least they can really have a feeling of how it works. And then if they're interested in knowing more, they can read my book, which is The Employee Millionaire, where I go into much more details about the investment blueprint. So this free ebook is called The 4 Stages of Building Wealth, and it can be downloaded from my website, which is www.employeemillionaire.com/the 4 stages.
Yeah, and check out his book, The Employee Millionaire, How to Use Your Day Job to Become a Millionaire with Rental Properties. Thank you, H.J. This has been really, truly amazing. Thank you for giving us your time.
Thank you for having me on the show. I really enjoyed it.
Hey everyone, remember to join us in the Private Financial Freedom Podcast Facebook group with me, your host, Lorna Poole. This is a safe haven of like-minded wealth-getting go-getters who, like you, are on their journey to creating financial freedom in their life. This is where you and I can get intimate. I can give you the support and guidance to go from where you are now to where you want to be, developing your wealth mindset and creating your financial freedom life. Join at www.facebook.com/groups The Financial Freedom Podcast. You will see the links to this on the website. It's in the show notes, or type it into the Facebook group. All you have to type in is Financial Freedom Podcast and you will see us there. Look forward to seeing you in the group. Take care. Thank you for joining us on the Financial Freedom Podcast to creating wealth, investing, and developing your money mindset. To get started today on your journey, head on over to www.lornapoole.com and grab your free course, 5 Steps to Breaking Free from Your Poverty Mindset and Accelerating Your Journey to Financial Freedom. See you there.